Number 8. Maxwell Berry. 22-year-old Maxwell Berry had already had one alcoholic beverage during a Frontier Airlines flight from Philadelphia to Miami earlier this year when he asked a flight attendant for another. He allegedly rubbed his empty cup against her backside, and she replied by telling Berry not to touch her. After spilling his new drink on his shirt, Berry went to the restroom and emerged shirtless. Another flight attendant had to help him get another shirt out of his carry-on. But his behavior became increasingly disruptive. He groped 2 flight attendants and then sucker-punched another who was trying to get him under control. Crew members held Berry down and strapped him into his seat with duct tape while he screamed for help and said that his parents are worth $2 million. Then they put tape over his mouth. Viral footage of the ordeal shows Berry trying to free himself. He was charged with 3 counts of assault and initially claimed on social media that he had done nothing wrong and what happened on the flight was the most dehumanizing experience of his life. Berry changed his tune toward the end of his trial when he pleaded guilty to all charges. He received a 60-day jail sentence followed by a year of probation. Number 7. Joe Satello. In 2017, a resident in Kingsport, Tennessee, opened her door to a home invasion one day after hearing a knock and assuming it was a harmless visitor. When she looked through the peephole, she saw a woman holding a flyer, but when she opened the door, she came face to face with a masked intruder who grabbed her and tried pulling her outside. The 52-year-old homeowner managed to break free and went inside her home, but was followed by the man who announced that he was there to commit a robbery. During a struggle between the two, the resident pulled the attacker's face mask off and was shocked to realize that she was being victimized by a longtime family friend, Joe Satello. She was also surprised to see he was carrying a handgun in his waistband, but she was not about to let him get away with what he was trying to do. Wasting no time, the woman grabbed a nearby baseball bat and continued to fight Satello, with help from 2 teens who were also inside the home when the intrusion occurred. The trio managed to shove the suspect out the front door, and he tried to flee to a getaway vehicle driven by the woman who had initially approached with a flyer in her hand, who was later identified as Satello's girlfriend. When she realized that he couldn't get away, she hit the gas and fled the scene. Satello eventually broke free on foot, but his escape didn't last long. He ran into the home of a nearby resident, and they were able to hold him until police arrived. He was charged with aggravated burglary and aggravated robbery. Number 6. Gas thief goes up in flames. In what can only be described as an uncanny dose of instant karma, a Utah man recently caught fire while siphoning gas from a truck's tank. Surveillance footage shows the moment the thief caught fire after crawling beneath the vehicle he was trying to steal fuel from. The incident happened outside of a business called Summit Fire and Protection. Afterward, branch manager Travis Mills told local station KSL-TV that some people try to take the easy way out of everything. He was alerted to the theft shortly before the truck became fully engulfed in flames. Mills explained that when the culprit failed to siphon the gas the old-fashioned way, he drilled a hole in the tank, and that's how the fire started. These types of robberies are reportedly on the rise as gas prices in the US hit all-time highs. In fact, the attempted robbery was caught on camera thanks to a $30,000 surveillance system that Mills had just installed on the property, due to the increase in gas thefts. Shortly before the theft that was captured by the new system, someone stole the truck's catalytic converter and siphoned gasoline from the tank. The footage shows the thief maneuvering beneath the truck and then jumping and trying to put out the flames on his shirt. In accordance with the basic rules of fire safety that we all learn in elementary school, he can then be seen stopping, dropping, and rolling before being helped into a getaway vehicle by an accomplice. It's unclear if he was injured, and if so, how severe his injuries were. The thieves remain at large. Number 5. Arian Taherzadeh. In an alarming case of someone successfully impersonating law enforcement at one of the highest possible levels, Aryan Tahazadeh and a co-conspirator named Haider Sher Ali allegedly managed to convince some members of the Secret Service that they were federal agents. The scam allegedly began in 2020 when the pair started living rent-free in a luxury apartment building in Washington, D.C., where they convinced staff at the building that they worked for the government. It wasn't too surprising, since many federal employees do live there, but in a shocking twist, the suspects also persuaded the building's manager to give them access to surveillance video and residential records. They were finally caught and charged earlier this year. During a raid of the duo's ill-gotten apartment, police found a stash of weapons. Court documents also revealed that witnesses saw Tahazadeh and Sher Ali logging into what seemed to be legitimate web portals for government workers. At around the same time federal employees began carrying Glock handguns, the pair also suddenly had them. So it's no wonder that people fell for their scheme, which, by all appearances, seemed valid. It's unclear who funded the suspects' outwardly lavish lifestyle, and investigation is ongoing. 4 members of First Lady Jill Biden's security team were placed on leave as detectives try to figure out how the suspects pulled the scam off with such accuracy. Tahazadeh reportedly tried to lay the bulk of the blame on Sher Ali, but he's not innocent either, according to a former friend and business partner that he started a now defunct security company with in Kansas City. Speaking with the Daily Beast, the anonymous ex-colleague described Tahazadeh's current brush with the law as karma, adding that he got burned numerous times before he decided to finally walk away and avoid any future business dealings with the man. When asked about what he thinks the suspect's end game was, he said, "Part of me wants to tell you, it's because he could." Number 4. Joseph McKinnon. A South Carolina man had just murdered his partner and was in the middle of burying her remains earlier this year when he suddenly collapsed. Residents called the Edgefield County Sheriff's Office in May and reported seeing a man lying on the ground, unconscious, in the town of Trenton. Responding deputies found Joseph Anthony McKinnon dead in the yard of a home. While investigating the scene, they discovered the body of his girlfriend, 65-year-old Patricia Ruth Dent, wrapped in garbage bags and placed in a freshly dug hole. Neighbors told law enforcement that they had seen McKinnon digging the hole the day before, and an autopsy determined that he had died from a heart attack. An autopsy of Dent's remains concluded that she had been strangled to death. Based on the evidence at the scene, it appeared as though McKinnon was almost finished filling Dent's grave when he set the shovel down and walked away. He then fell to the ground and never regained consciousness. Number 3. Ja Cure. Back in 1999, Jamaican singer Sicature Alcock, better known as Ja Cure, was sentenced to 15 years in prison for aggravated robbery, illegal possession of a firearm, and the brutal assault of a 19-year-old woman. He was paroled in 2007 after serving only 8 years and went on to enjoy continued success as a musician, while those affected by his actions were left feeling like the justice system had failed them. Ja Cure managed to stay out of trouble until November of 2021. Then he was arrested in Amsterdam for stabbing music promoter Ricardo Blake in the stomach. The pair were in the middle of an argument when the assault occurred in the city center, right in front of the public. Despite his injuries, Blake made it to a nearby police station where he reported the disturbing attack. He was then taken to a hospital where he underwent surgery for his wounds. Police wasted no time arresting Alcock, who was ordered held without bail after his arraignment. In the meantime, detectives carried out an investigation into the matter and ultimately slapped the suspect with charges of attempted murder, attempted manslaughter, and aggravated assault. A court dropped the attempted murder charge, but found Alcock guilty of attempted manslaughter earlier this year and sentenced him to 6 years in prison, which isn't a bad deal, considering the fact that he was facing up to 15 years. And while the outcome could have been much more heavy-handed, it begs the question of whether karma finally caught up with Ja Cure for what many feel was a less than adequate sentence for his previous crimes. Either way, those who believe he belongs behind bars can rest easy, as he remains locked up pending his next move in the case. It's unclear whether the singer plans to appeal his sentence. Number 2. Jeff Case. With inflation hitting its highest in decades and basic living costs skyrocketing, many people are struggling by no fault of their own to afford even the most simple expenses. A Coast Guard veteran named Jeff Case is helping to pay it forward through the Good Karma Garage in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, where he fixes vehicles for people who are hitting hard times free of charge. Speaking with local station Fox 43, he explained that he thought of the idea when a customer who's in her 70s couldn't afford the costs associated with getting her car up to inspection standards. Her bill was estimated at $1,200 at another business, and she just didn't have that kind of money laying around. Case said that he was able to get the parts for a fraction of the cost, and that he performed the labor for free, which made it possible for the woman to get the necessary work done on her car. This was important because not only did it enable her to pass inspection, but because it ensured that her vehicle is roadworthy and therefore safe. After performing the good deed, Case realized that a lot of people are in a similar predicament, and he wanted to continue giving back. So he started the Good Karma Garage as a way to help out veterans and community members in need. The customers he helps out pay nothing to get their vehicles repaired, and Case's kindness has gone a long way in helping them get on their feet. One man he helped was a homeless veteran who moved to the area to be closer to his family. Case and his team got the man's car running and eventually helped him get a new car. Having access to reliable transportation enabled him to get a higher-paying job and to become more involved in his kids' lives, which may not have been possible otherwise. This is exactly the kind of difference Case wanted to make. He told Fox 43 that each and every one of his customers so far have been deserving and inspiring. As of late February of this year, his team had helped 14 customers and had provided more than $4,000 worth of parts that would have come at a hefty price tag at a traditional repair garage. Number 1. Harmony Montgomery. Sometime in late 2019, a little girl from New Hampshire named Harmony Montgomery vanished seemingly without a trace. Authorities don't know exactly when she disappeared because they were unaware of her disappearance until the fall of 2021, when her biological mother, Crystal Sorey, reported her missing. As soon as the news broke, hundreds of tips poured in, and police offered a $150,000 reward for information leading to Harmony's whereabouts. But she still hasn't been found. Shortly before she disappeared, her father Adam, his wife Kayla, the couple's 2 children in common, and Harmony were evicted from their apartment. Witnesses reported seeing the entire family together, but within days they stopped seeing Harmony and only saw Adam and Kayla with the girls' half-siblings. At the time, they were homeless and living out of their 2 vehicles. Harmony's short life has been a difficult one. She was repeatedly removed from the custody of her mother, Crystal Sorey, due to alleged substance abuse issues, and was ultimately placed in Adam's care. Sadly, based on the circumstances surrounding Harmony's disappearance, it seems as though life with her father wasn't any better. Adam reportedly told police that Harmony had been living with Sorey since 2019, but this was quickly proven to be untrue. Her stepmother, Kayla, has been arrested at least 3 times throughout the investigation, including failing to remove Harmony from her food stamp account after she went missing. Kayla has also been charged with receiving stolen property in connection with a firearms theft that Adam allegedly committed. He has also been indicted on several criminal offenses. In her most recent arrest, Kayla was accused of committing perjury by lying to a grand jury. Speaking with local station WMUR, Crystal Sorey stated that karma is real, in reference to the investigators' slow but promising developments. Simply put, she's confident that the system will do its due diligence and bring the people who are responsible for Harmony's disappearance to justice. Thanks for watching. Would you rather see a crooked politician finally get arrested for their corrupt lifestyle, or receive a $1 million settlement after being unfairly jailed for a year? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.